Welcome to week three of the CEO Lunch and Learn series. I'm Bernadette Els Harris, business strategist and retreat host. And today we're going to talk about one of the most undervalued growth tools ever, rest. Yes, real rest without guilt. I remember when I was the kind of person that filled every space in my calendar. Um, but some of my best ideas came when I wasn't working. It might have been when I was baking a cake or taking a walk, taking a shower. I always used to say I want to install a whiteboard in my shower because I got the greatest ideas in there. And it didn't dawn on me that it was because I was resting. Even taking a shower for me is resting. It's very much a resting thing. And so when I was resting and when I slowed down, that's when I realized that I was able to come up with my next level ideas. So today I want to share three takeaways with you. And the first one is rest improves our ROI. ROI stands for return on investment. Fatigue leads to poor decisions, miscommunications, and reactive leadership. One of the things that I say, and I have always really been a proponent of rest. I only became this crazy person who didn't want to rest when I became an entrepreneur. But prior to being an entrepreneur, I was the person that would get sleep. And I say that the reason that rest was so important to me is because I value my relationships. And I know that when I'm tired, I'm going to be mean. And I don't want to be mean. And so it is important for me to be rested so that I can be nice to people. But thinking about it, when we are tired, we make bad decisions. And maybe we hurt people's feelings or we say things that we don't want to say or we just miscommunicate altogether. And so a rested CEO can think more clearly, you can listen better and hear, and then you can prioritize your activities more effectively. Rest is preparation, it's not procrastination, right? So we often think that when we're burnt out, that's the time to pause. But the reality is that if we want to be peak performers, elite performers, we need to rest before we burn out. We need to rest before the big push up. So rest is how you recover and it's how you prepare to lead well when you are rested. The last one is, and this one is key, especially if you are that booked and busy CEO, protect the white space, right? Don't overbook yourself. Make sure that you have space in your calendar to not only just rest but to reflect. You've often heard people say, you got to have time to work on the business and in the business, and you got to block that time off, especially if somebody else is keeping your calendar for you. And so there has to be time for you to think, there has to be time for you to implement, there has to be time for you to brainstorm. And so let go of the guilt that comes along with rest, right? And treat it as the strategic advantage it is. Rest is not a reward. Rest is something that you should have every single day. So let's talk about some of the journal prompts. And so as we reflect together, think through these things and you may even again journal them or share your reflections in the comments. But how do you currently prioritize rest in your life? I know for me personally, I have a thing where I rest my body 10 hours a day. And I know that sounds like a lot. I'm not sleeping 10 hours a day, but I rest my body and my mind 10 hours a day. And so before I am ready to go to sleep, I get in bed to rest. And this is the time when I essentially shut down that computer of a brain that I have to prepare my body for rest. That's how important rest is for me. That is a priority. And then I have some time in the morning before I get up and interact with people that I have a moment to just be quiet, to be still, to visualize my day. That is how I prioritize rest. So, what would it look like if you treated rest like an investment. It is something that you need to grow your business, and it's not an indulgence. Like I said, it's not a reward. It's something that I invest in. When I invest in this rest, I'm able to. For me, because I rest my body 10 hours a day, when I am in my office working, I get lots of stuff done, right? And so most days I'm able to get everything that I want accomplished that day done in like 6 to 7 hours. If I work an 8 hour day, it's because maybe sometimes I get caught up in something that I'm doing, but I'm able to get more done because my mind is rested and I'm very clear and focused. The last question is, what is one thing that you can remove from your calendar this week to use that time as rest or reflection or things like that? So I hope that this information was helpful. Thank you for watching this. And again, if you are interested in more of what we talk about in this series, I will invite you to the CEO Wellness Retreat, because this is where rest is the point. This is what we do. We'll get intentional about restoration, and you will come back from this retreat stronger. Now, you're not going to come to Mexico just to sleep all the time. We're going to have strategy. We're going to have rest. We'll have connection with other CEOs. We got a beach day plan, a welcome dinner in my home where I'll be catering an amazing meal, and so much more. And so, if you are interested, I invite you to go to the CEOWellnessRetreat.com to grab your seat before they are all gone. I will see you next week. Thanks.